All right, everybody, welcome to this month's edition of the Fightlete Report, October mid-fall edition. You know, we got a lot of great fights coming up this month. A lot of great heavyweight clashes coming up. A lot of great blockbuster fights. And with me is Chris Warbach.
Hello, MMA Maniacs.
Yeah, he's a great fellow MMA fan of mine. Very knowledgeable about Fedor, and we'll get to that later. We're also going to look back at UFC 103. And also take a look at UFC 104, Shogun Rua versus Lyoto Machida for the light heavyweight title. It's
Great card, good card. I'm excited.
And also we'll take a look at the WC fight between Mike Brown and Jose Aldo. Okay, welcome to this month's edition of the Fight League Report. We're looking at UFC 103, very lackluster card, I'd say, for the most part. And UFC 103, they knew they were going up against that blockbuster Mayweather return fight, so they didn't really put their best effort forward to putting on a big blockbuster card. It was very average, for the most part. Looking here at some of the fights, we saw Cole Miller, who trains over at the Gracie Barra Academy. Well, he's visited there before. You might have seen me interview him. He took on Efrain Escudero in the preliminary fights that were aired live before the pay-per-view, and fortunately he got knocked out by Escudero. What do you think about that victory for Escudero coming off the tough season?
I don't know too much about the dude, but that's a good win.
Yeah, it's been a long time since he fought, but he didn't really show any any cobwebs, any ring rust. He got right back into it. He's looking to establish himself in that division. And next up, we saw Tyson Griffin, Hermes Franca. Very good fight. Hermes Franca lost by knockout to Tyson Griffin, and it's actually Griffin's first time he's finished a fight in like 2 or 3 years. Not since 2006 has he actually finished a fight. He's been a decision in both his victories and losses. Maybe he might have been finished, but that's the first time he won a fight by actually finishing it by knockout or submission. In this case, it was knockout.
He just beat Sean Shirk too, right?
He lost to Shirk by decision.
He beat him though. That's fine.
And he beat Dos Anjos by decision. That was his last fight. So Tyson Griffin moves up that light heavyweight ranking, and I think Franca, I don't see him in the UFC too much longer. How about you?
We'll go back to Brazil and play soccer.
Yeah. Yeah. Next up, we saw Frank Trigg take on Josh Koscheck. It's a good knockout by Koscheck, but Frank Trigg definitely showed that he didn't have what it takes to be in the welterweight division in the UFC anymore.
Yeah, he's an old. Koscheck has actually been good. He lost to Elves like 3 fights ago. He should be in like a 2-fight winning streak. So
yeah, he is on 2. He beat Paulo Thiago back in no, he lost to Paulo Thiago before they beat Yoshida.
And I heard he's
fight
trying
for the troops by knockout, and then finally gets back on the
I know
track.
He's calling out Matt Hughes. He wants to fight him, but
oh yeah, AKA guys are definitely calling out Hughes, like
I don't think
Koscheck and
Hughes
Trigg.
wants any of that.
I mean, Mike Swick, yeah. Well, no, the reason why he says I have nothing to gain from that fight.
Yeah.
That's what Hughes says. But we'll see what he does in the near future. Next up was a disappointing knockout. It was Martin Kampmann versus Paul Daly. Daly coming over from the UK across the pond. He had a pretty good record, but Martin Kampmann was more established, and I was very surprised how the fight ended. Kampmann got knocked out standing, a standing knockout. I mean, that doesn't really happen too much in the UFC, but it was obvious that he was punch drunk. He had taken way too many unanswered shots, and like I said in the last report, you can't count out Paul Daly. I mean, this kid, we don't know what he's capable of. He's coming from another country. He's looking to establish himself in the UFC's dominant welterweight division, and he really showed it. Major upset. Wiped Kampmann off of the welterweight title picture, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
All right, moving on, we saw Mirko Cro Cop versus Junior Dos Santos. Dos Santos, up and coming UFC heavyweight. He really brought the fight to Cro Cop, but the ending was disappointing. Cro Cop suffered a slashed eyelash or eyebrow, and he waved to the referee to stop the fight.
Cro Cop is waving his career pretty soon because he ain't no Pride Cro Cop no more. After getting beat by Congo, and then he lost to Gabriel Gonzaga. Brutal head kick. Cro Cop in the UFC, he's not that good.
Yeah, he has yet to establish himself in the heavyweight division.
He's got 1 more fight left on his contract.
I heard he was considering retiring.
Yeah.
But
Poor guy.
Dos Santos, you got to be impressed with him. You sure you could?
Yeah, he's a rising heavyweight. We'll see. I'm looking forward to watching.
The heavyweight division is so stacked; it's just growing month by month, and I can't wait to see some of these exciting matchups. Okay, the main event we saw Rich Franklin take on the returning Vitor Belfort, and Belfort was very patient in this fight. I wasn't used to his style. It took me a while to get into the fight because it looks like for the most part he's looking to counterpunch Franklin. Franklin was throwing more shots than he was, but then all it took was one shot and he laid Franklin out. He leveled Rich Franklin right there, and I'm a big Rich Franklin fan, so it was disappointing for me.
It was a big win for Belfort because that earned him a title shot with Anderson Silva. So.
All right, that's gonna be an exciting fight at UFC 108.
Big win for that guy.
Yeah, he gets a shot in one fight. Who thought? Rich Franklin, where do you see him going from here?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. He's had a couple losses in a row. Well, no, he beat Wanderlei.
Yeah, he beat Wanderlei Silva.
Yeah, ever since he's lost twice to, the Spider, he doesn't look the same.
No, and this fight really kind of sets him back from his light heavyweight debut. In the light heavyweight division, he is still undefeated. Well, he has one victory there since he returned to light heavyweight division.
Yeah, he's been doing some catchweight fights.
And then we know that Vitor Belfort will take on Silva, but Rich Franklin, the only guy I see him beating credibly, like a credible guy I see him beating in the light heavyweight division, is Keith Jardine. I think Franklin could definitely beat Keith Jardine, but besides that, the division's so stacked. Guys like Thiago Silva, great knockout artists. I don't think Franklin can stand.
He could take Mark Coleman.
Oh yeah.
That old bastard.
Maybe. I'd like to see Franklin against Ortiz. That's been fun.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
I would have rather seen that than the planned Forrest Griffin Ortiz fight. All right, moving on. We're gonna go into your neck of the woods. Strikeforce coming to Chicago.
Coming to the
Sears Center.
Yeah.
And I know you're familiar.